The transistor is the most important invention that humans rely on today. The transistor powers all digital devices that people rely on for every aspect of society. They facilitate electronic communication around the globe, they're the building block of every digital device, they store all data that runs the internet, and they're significant in historical human achievements. No other invention has had such a mass social impact and dependency from humankind. The research of semiconductors by a group of scientists at Bell Labs was a crucial turning point in history because of their invention of the transistor, which is arguably the most important invention, and it has miniaturized and advanced the electronics field by replacing the bulky slow vacuum tube, which had the smallest produced size of 20 millimeters, while today's transistor sizes are smaller than 20 nanometers. Additionally, the transistor is the fundamental building block of all 16 billion digital devices, allowing for continuous development of technology. According to Rahul Awati, a transistor is a miniature semiconductor that regulates or controls current or voltage flow, in addition amplifying and generating these electric signals and acting as a switch/gate for them. In simpler terms, a transistor is like an electronic switch that allows for the manipulation of electric currents. The ability to manipulate electric currents allows data to be stored as zeros and ones, and these zeros and ones are how digital computers access and store processes. The transistor was invented by William Shockley and his research team members John Bardeen and Walter Brayton at Bell Labs. According to the University of Texas at Dallas and San Jose State University, during the 1930s, Bell Labs scientist William Shockley and his team were researching the behavior of germanium crystals as semiconductors in an attempt to replace vacuum tubes as mechanical relays in telecommunications. The vacuum tube made long-distance calling practical, but the tubes consumed power, created heat, and burned out rapidly, requiring high maintenance. After the transistor became widespread, the vacuum tube essentially went extinct as the transistor was more efficient and many times smaller. The transistor was the cause of many breakthroughs in digital technology as it enabled digital devices to be miniaturized and let data process faster than ever before. According to Lenovo, a vacuum tube is an electronic device that creates a vacuum to shield against electric currents, enabling the ability to control them. The vacuum tube had the same job as the transistor, albeit accomplishing the job slower, while taking up a lot more space and being overall less reliable. According to a publication by Richard Carter, the tetrad vacuum tube, one of the common vacuum tube types, had frequencies that range from 30 MHz to 300 MHz, meaning it could undergo 30 million to 300 million cycles per second, which relates to the amount of calculation it could make. On the other hand, according to a publication by Peter Yip, the bipolar junction transistor, the most common type of transistor, operates up to 10 GHz, meaning it could undergo 10 billion cycles per second. This is important as it allows for digital devices to be faster and more efficient at processing the data beyond everything on a digital screen. Additionally, transistors are exponentially smaller than vacuum tubes, allowing for devices to be portable, more efficient, and more powerful. The transistor allowed for microprocessors to be compacted in numbers of billions, allowing for more complex devices to be in smaller forms. According to my research, the smallest vacuum tube is the RCA60S4 Nuvester. The Nuvester had a height of 20 millimeters and a diameter of 11 millimeters. In contrast, according to the US Government of Energy, the typical size of a transistor is 20 nanometers, that is 0.00002 millimeters or 200 thousandths, 1 million times smaller than the smallest vacuum tube. This is a turning point because as transistors are so small, it permitted the development of microchips that enables all-powerful digital technology. The first major vacuum tube-powered computer was the ENIAC, and according to Stonehill College, the ENIAC weighed 30 tons and filled a 1,000 square foot room. It contained 19,000 vacuum tubes and had a clock speed of 100 kHz. In comparison to the first commercially produced microprocessor that was powered by transistors, the Intel 4004 is stated to be 2 inches in diameter, contained 2,300 transistors, had a clock speed of 750 kHz according to an Intel infographic. The infographic later states, the Intel 4004 microprocessor circuit line width was 10 microns or 10,000 nanometers. Today, the circuit features of Intel microprocessors range between 45 and 32 nanometers. By comparison, an average human hair is 100,000 nanometers wide. Those circuit lines are nearly 3,000 times smaller than the average human hair. Comparing the 4004 to the most recent Intel microprocessor, the Intel Core i9 processor 14900K is capable of a clock speed up to 6 GHz, 6 million kHz, that is 8,000 times faster than the Intel 4004, and 60,000 times faster than the ENIAC. Without the transistor, humans would not have portable digital devices that they rely on for day-to-day use. The transistor is the building block of all 16 billion digital devices in existence today. From smartphones to personal computers, to airplanes to satellites, all of these devices need the transistor in order to operate. They allow for graphics, navigation, data processing, the internet, etc. Without the transistor, none of these accommodations in our lives would exist. According to Statista, in 2022, there were 6.4 billion smartphones on the internet. Smartphones enabled humans to communicate globally on demand. Before the smartphone, people had to use landlines, which needed a fixed location to call. The smartphone allowed for a portable connection to anyone else in the world, influencing the connectivity of human race. Without transistors, the components of a smartphone would not be possible, as no other technology could fit the processing power into a portable device. The transistor influences how humans are able to connect with ease around the world, being a turning point in how humans communicate. The transistor is the foundation of the internet and the devices that use it. According to Statista, in 2022, there were an estimated 5.3 billion number of internet users. The internet provides all human knowledge, electronic communication, social media, news outlet, video games, and more at the click of a few buttons. Humans rely on the internet for any question about any topic. All the data on the internet is created by transistor logic gates that tell the computer whether it is a 0 or a 1, making binary. Without the transistor, data servers and devices that use the internet would not work, as each component of data is made out of transistors. Any device that runs the internet is made out of components made up of transistors. The transistor enables the existence of the internet, which in turn enables humankind to easily access any information needed. The transistor has been important in many advancements of science, allowing for humans to have a deeper understanding of the world. The Apollo guidance computer used on Apollo 11 that provided the navigation, control, and calculations of the flight, according to American Enterprise Institute, was powered by 2048 integrated circuits containing several tens of thousands of transistors that produced 32 kilobytes of random access memory and 72 kilobytes of read-only memory. The Apollo 11 mission, aided by transistors, was a turning point in history and politics as well as science because it ended the space race and gave humans a better understanding of space. Even with the limited amount of resources, the transistor facilitated one of humans' greatest achievements. In conclusion, the transistor is the most important invention because it 1. Replaced the vacuum tube by outperforming it in speed, and it was vastly smaller in size. 2. Allowed for the creation of the smartphone that humans rely on for day-to-day use. 3. Stores all the data of the internet and is the building block of all the devices that use the internet. And 4. Facilitates humans' achievements in science and politics. Without the transistor, our current life would be greatly different. We would not have the internet, smartphones, modern airplanes, GPS, video games, and so much more. The widespread use of digital device conveys how the transistor widely affected humankind. My reasoning on the transistor being the most important invention is because people all over the world, for many different purposes, rely on the sole invention for so many possibilities. Without the transistor, our modern world would not be so modern.